knock yourself out.
Okay. Good morning, Montreal Book Fair. How is everybody? I hope you've had your coffee and your Wheaties, and I apologize for the late start. We had a few technical difficulties, but we're on board now. So without further ado, we're not going to, it's a big list, so I'm not going to do too much in the way of preamble. I will say that I will be going in catalog order. So if you're following along with your book manager or Catalyst catalogs, you can kind of throw your orders in at the same time. I think Lucy, you'll be monitoring the chat. So if there are any questions, I'm free to kind of, it doesn't really throw me off my game too much. You can kind of chuck them at me anytime you want. So let me start, as usual, with the Canadian catalog. So I am going to get that up and running for us here. Lucy, you'll let me know that we can all see this?
Yes, we can.
Perfect.
No, but Kim, oh, okay. Yeah, we're good.
Everybody's okay?
Yep. Grand.
All right. Canadian list begins with a big, beautiful picture book from Peter Reynolds. This is shipping in October, $22.99 hardcover. It is an absolutely beautiful and timely picture book that we need right now. It's all about reconnecting with family and friends around the table. So a young girl named Violet is lamenting the fact that her family has kind of lost their way. They're not sitting together, connecting as a family around a meal. So she decides to take it upon herself, and they build this big, beautiful table, and it's all about coming together again. So this will be in stores in plenty of time for Canadian Thanksgiving. We love Peter Reynolds. He's perfect for the school market, but they should be on every kid's bookshelf across the country. There will be a 6-copy counter display available for it. And one of the most beautiful stories I've heard is when Peter Reynolds came to our sales conference, he talked about his family tradition where every time he and his wife host guests around their table, his wife has them sign this tablecloth in pencil, and then she embroiders the name, and it comes out and it celebrates all the people that have been around their community through the years. So it's just a touching story, and I hope you guys get a chance to read this and you can kind of build your own traditions around it. I will mention right now that I did send out an email to everybody, including all the digital F&Gs. This PowerPoint will have a few images from each one of the picture books that we talk about, but in that email, you've got the full F&Gs digitally, and there's also a link to a Canadian chapter sampler, which is very exciting. It's one of the first times we've ever seen that. So all of that came in that email I sent you earlier this week. Second title from Peter Reynolds is a little gift book. It's going to be a little 7x7 hardcover gift book. This is basically a little love letter from you to whomever. So it's going to be a $13.99 gift book, and you can see it's just simple text on each page. It will be out. This is a later title, so be careful of your numbers. Make sure you order appropriately because it's dropping on December 7th. And it will have lots of legs right through to Valentine's Day. The biggest picture book team in Canada, we've got a new Robert Munch and Michael Marchenko. So this is a brand new paperback. Retail on it is $7.99, but of course we always have the paper overboard available at the same time for the school market. Will be available also in a 12-copy counter display. And I Can Fix It is all about the comfort items that we had as a child. So it's the story of a young girl who had this beloved blanket, and you can see here the details is, you know, when she was 1, she used it, when she was 2, when she was 3, when she was 4, when she was 5. But when she was 6, unfortunately, her brother uses it to clean up a spill, and he destroyed it. So obviously this is terrible. So, Mad About Munch. We've talked about I Can Fix It, which is the brand new publishing from Mr. Munch. Mad About Munch is a reissue with a new ISBN of these larger format bind-ups. This one has 6 titles in it: Smelly Socks, which is absolutely my favorite, Zoom, More Pies, Boo, The Sandcastle Contest, and a special edition of Braids. And if you'll remember, these new trim size, they're the same size as the regular Robert Munch titles, that 8.5 by 11. Great gift title for fall. Damn it. All right. So, Everybody by Elise Gravel. We are very, very lucky again this season to have both the English and the French version of a new Elise Gravel picture book. This is just an amazing title. It's going to be paper over board at $19.99. Coming in October, and it's what we need right now. It's a story called Everybody, and it tells the tale of how we all have so much more in common than we do things that separate us. It's meaningful, it's fun, it'll be perfect for the school market, but it should be on every kid's bookcase. Everybody needs to feel safe. Everybody runs into problems. So it really is kind of that book that says that, you know, you're having a hard time, so is somebody else. Please reach out. So we do have a 6-copy counter display available on this one. We know Elise is always willing to do events in Montreal. She's tour de force and always busy, busy, busy. New picture book from Helene Becker and Werner Zimmermann. This is We Wish You a Merry Christmas. So we've seen Porcupine and a Pine Tree. We've seen the whole grouping of these books. This is the newest one. And of course, it is the same price, $16.99. We have every Canadian animal represented, and if they're not, they're lonely because they're sitting by themselves out there. But it follows along the standard Christmas carol, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. But again, it's Porcupine and all of his friends. So as mentioned, $16.99 paper overboard hardcover, but I've stressed that we do have the 6-copy counter display, and if you order the 6-copy counter display, again this year you get the 6 Porcupine plush toys, which can be given away as a gift with purchase. They're free to you if you order in the 6-copy counter display. Can you imagine? New title from Wallace Edwards. This slipped from the fall list last year, and it really does harken back to Alpha Beasts. It's a 32-page jacketed hardcover showcasing his signature art style. So it starts off with this young pig looking for inspiration. He's finding it challenging, kind of looking at his blank page, but he sets out on a journey around his area to kind of find inspiration in nature. And it asks the question, you know, where does creativity lie? It's also a real story of mindfulness. You need to carve out space for yourself. This is really Wallace Edwards at his very best. We will have downloadable art activities to tie into this one. And as mentioned, $19.99 jacketed hardcover. That'll be ready in September. The Little Knight Who Saved the Day. Montreal's own Gilles Thibault, illustrated by Genevieve Desprez. We've seen this one last summer in our French list. The Little Knight, of course, has battled many, many things. He's the protector of his kingdom, but he comes across another little knight who is vying for the same title. So they do a little bit of battling, but they realize at the end that, you know, when they work together, they actually are better equipped to save the day. So this is an original trade size paperback at $9.99. Brady. We have 2 Brady titles on our list this season. The first one, Brady and the Big Mistake, is a reissue. Brady decides to play his game of shinny this day with his dad's very, very special signed puck. And of course, he does it, and it's not the thing to do. And all of these books have some sort of character education. And this one is all about, does he tell the truth and face the consequences? Does he lie about it? The theme on this one is honesty. 8x8, $6.99, coming in September. And then we have a brand new Brady title, brand new writing. This is coming in hardcover, a 9x9 paper overboard hardcover. And this will be ready in October, and it is a Christmas story. And Brady, again, kind of goes out, and it's hockey is his life, and he goes and he forgets to mail his letter to Santa. So we do have a dedicated website for the series, lots of downloadables. We always do lots of outreach to the hockey community, and each book always has those great character ed components, as I mentioned. The Very Super Bear. This is one of our favorite titles. We love Bear and the jingle jangle jungle on a cold and rainy day. And in the case of the Very Super Bear, he comes across a picnic blanket, ties it around his neck, and becomes the Very Super Bear. We're releasing this one now in board book. Retail is $9.99. They're every bit as successful in board books, sometimes more so than they are in the larger format hardcover. And very exciting this season, we have a bind up, all 5 titles in the Very Cranky Bear in one volume. So these are those big, this will be the same trim size as the larger hardcovers. They all retail for $16.99. So to have 5 of them in one volume for $22.99 is a pretty amazing retail price. And that's just a great gift item for fall. The Big Hockey Game. This is from Eric the Elk, and some may recognize Eric the Elk because this came from the French school market. So Eric and his friends getting ready for all things winter and hockey. And you can see Eric here is getting very excited about the Big Hockey Game, and it does answer the question as how a moose holds a hockey stick. Well, he holds it in his teeth. So this is a paperback original at $7.99. We understand that picture books are getting up there in retail price. We want to have stuff available at all price points for all kids. So book series, as I said, coming out of the French school market, and we hope to have more Eric in the future. The Night Before Playoffs. This is from Stella Grasso, who brought you Take Me Out to the this is the rink where Jack plays, Take Me Out to the Ice Rink. And again, this one is a riff on Samuel Clemens' A Visit from St. Nicholas. This is going to be an original paperback at $8.99. Follows along the standard poem. So it was the night before playoffs, the rink was pristine, and the glimmering ice appeared simply serene. So it's all things hockey, especially in Montreal right now. And you can see some of the characters that are out there playing the hockey game. So, but hockey, evergreen property. A lot of people like to have these, especially kind of pigeonhole boys a little bit. So that'll be an original paperback at $8.99. Pig the Elf. We've seen this one in hardcover for a few seasons now. It comes out every Christmas, but this time we're doing it in a paperback. So it's finally available in paperback, and we're following along the US. They're releasing it in paperback. So we have a Canadian ISBN, and this will be ready in September. Another seasonal title, we've got The Littlest Elf. And if everybody remembers, this was originally done in a little 8x8 paperback. Now we have it as a fantastic little cheap and cheerful board book for $9.99. And it's we find that board books for seasonal are super strong, and this is just a cute little title. So this will be perfect for all your holiday tables. And the Lunch Club, Dominique Pelletier. We've been seeing these pretty steadily on the French list. And here it is now. We've done the translations on the English. So in the latest one, we're a little further ahead on the French. We're only at number 3 on the English. But please know that Dom is always available to do virtual events. If everybody, I think as more and more people get vaccinated, there's possibility for in-store events coming the fall. This came out last October in the French. The jokes just crack right along. And in this case, it is, you know, what kids are turning into zombies at the elementary school. So always good fun, especially for this age group. And this one is a bit of a seasonal title. Bun Bun and Bon Bon. This is from Jess Keating, another graphic novel. Very low level graphic insofar as it's really targeted at that 7 to 10 age group. This is the third in the series about this couple of unlikely friends. This one has a little bit of superhero content, and it's in perfect company with the rest of our graphic line. Lots of tongue-in-cheek humor. And we do a paperback and hardcover simultaneous release, just in case anyone needs the hardcover for the school market. Game On is a new bind-up from Gordon Corman, and this is a bind-up of Toilet Paper Tigers and The Chicken Doesn't Skate, so two of our favorite sports-themed Gordon Corman titles. Retail will be $12.99, and we have been finding that there's been a great nostalgia feel for Gordon Corman. He's been writing since he was 14 years old, so a lot of people who grew up reading Gordon Corman are parents themselves now, and it became kind of a pandemic comfort food to go back to those great titles like This Can't Be Happening at McDonald Hall. So it harkens back to a nicer, gentler time. Hockey Super 6. This is the third in the series from Kevin Sylvester. Hilariously illustrated middle grade fiction that have that hockey theme. They launched last fall with the first 2 books. Great package, super accessible interior, and I love the fact that they're an original paperback at $8.99, making them great for anybody to kind of do a grab and go. And the foe in this one is a seismotron wielding rabbit. So great for reluctant readers, over the top fun, kind of reminiscent of Dave Pilkey. A Struggle for Hope. This is a new book from Carol Matus. This picks up the story of one of the characters from her other titles, After the War and The Garden. It is a standalone, however, you do not need to have read either of the other books. So it's a story of a young girl living in a kibbutz in Israel after the Second World War. And it's a too hanky read for sure. So very personal story for Carol Matus, middle grade title, but will read up to the YA level because of the quality of writing, not because of any content. Original paperback at $9.99, and obviously this is not the finished cover. This is just the direction in which the cover is going. It's a placeholder for now. Traitors Among Us. This is the third and final story in the Don't Tell the Nazi and Trapped in Hitler's Web trilogy from Marcia Skripek. The girls, the 2 main characters, are reunited and are determined to get to Canada to start a new life after the end of World War II. So World War II titles always, especially historical fiction, are always in demand, and this ties up all the loose ends from the trilogy. And again, we're doing a simultaneous release with the paperback and the hardcover, just in case the school market needs that reinforced library binding. Taking the Ice. This is an original paperback from Lorna Schultz Nicholson, and Lorna Schultz Nicholson is the one that does the amazing hockey stories for us. So this is a hockey-centric middle grade story of Aiden, who's on the cover there, whose father has just died in a car accident, and his father was an NHL player. So whereas Aiden is kind of in his youth trying to express his individuality away from kind of being in his father's shadow, this has brought it all back. So he's thrown into the limelight where he really just wants to fly under the radar and kind of build his own personality. So coming of age story, lots of great themes: death, anxiety, duty. And this is an original paperback at $9.99, and you can see a sample chapter of this one in the chapter sampler that I sent you, along with all of those digital F&Gs. Alex Ovechkin, this is also from Lorna Schultz Nicholson. This is part of that amazing hockey stories series. Alex Ovechkin, of course, the captain of the Washington Capitals. Original paperback at $9.99. Best goal scorer in the 21st century. He's still playing, so may eventually overtake Gretzky as all-time greatest goal scorer. And these are great for reluctant readers. They have those kind of lots of great photos and these comic sections, which make them really, really appealing to reluctant readers. Meet David Suzuki. This was in the summer list. It slipped into the fall, so it's quite possible that you still have an order in the system for this one. Just make sure you check your numbers. Again, we love the Scholastic Canada biography series, taking great Canadians, some living, some not. In this case, it's always nice to have a living subject because we gave him a copy of the book. Who knows David Suzuki better than David Suzuki? So he gave a royal thumbs up to the story, and you can see these great art pieces. Set Your Alarm Sloth. This is the second from Jess Keating. She did Eat Your Rocks Croc a couple of seasons ago, and this is another science-focused picture book. Perfect for the school and home market. And again, for $23.99, it does have Dr. Sugar Glider acting to answer all of those kind of weird, wonderful questions that she's getting from some of these interesting little animals. So I love these. They've got, it's that stealth learning component. You have kind of a glossary at the end and different animals that you wouldn't normally kind of see at your average zoo. New in the Scholastic My First Canadian series, we've got the My First Canadian French English Words. Board book at $9.99. Tons of colorful illustrations throughout. You can see some photographic, some digitally rendered, but of course it's all those things that are super Canadian, perfect for our youngest emergent readers. Hockey Superstars. This is the one that we do every single year. No different here. We've got Paul Romanak at the helm. Of course, we have lots of Canadian players. We've got Austin Matthews on the front. Boo, Toronto. But, there are Toronto fans everywhere, not in Montreal these days. But a lot more head-to-head Canadian teams were playing this season. Unfortunately, they've dropped out. And these are always kind of a late drop in because we need to kind of get the Stanley Cup finalized before we can finish the book. $8.99, we're holding the price. And we've got a couple of titles at the end here that were in the summer list that have dropped kind of a little later. We've got The Good Fight, which was that great graphic novel all about the Christie Pitts riots in Toronto in the 1920s. This is from Ted Staunton. And Lala's Words, which was a beautiful picture book from Gracie Zhang. And again, those two I sold to you in the summer, and you probably still have orders in the system for them. So that is the Canadian list. So we move on now to the US list. So I'll give you all a second to open that catalog, and I'll just confer with Lucy that we are still seeing my PowerPoint and everything's running smoothly. All right, so the US list. The US list begins with Cat Kid Comic Club #2. We will have a cover reveal coming a little later this summer, and I will throw that out to you as soon as I have it. Second in the series, the first book has been a huge success. I love the fact that they've taken the most beloved character of the Dogman series and given them their own offshoot. So little Petey is helping all of his friends create. So these are art books. It's all about creativity. $15.99 paper over board. We also have a reinforced library binding for $34.99. There's a 24-copy solid floor display on this one. There isn't a Dogman this season, so it's always nice to have kind of a great Dave Pilkey revenue generator. Captain Underpants, the epic tale of Captain Underpants, The Extreme Exploits of the Explosive Christmas, Xmas. This follows along the Netflix special Christmas program. So a paperback at $8.99. Of course, the Netflix show has increased the profile of Captain Underpants, if anything actually could. He's huge as he is. And we also have strict on sale date of November 30th, same day as Cat Kid is releasing. We've got the Captain Underpants and the Sensational Saga of Sir Stinks-a-Lot. This is the final Captain Underpants. So this was the 12th Captain Underpants title. This is the one that introduces the world to Dogman, and it's finally available now in a full color graphic novel. The quality of these is amazing. The price is solid at $15.99. Bad Guys, we have a couple of Bad Guys offerings for you this season. We've got Bad Guys number 14, which the multiverse is getting badder and badder, and there is a movie coming in April of 2022. So this is going to increase the profile of Bad Guys. And we are also offering, that's coming in November, and then we are offering in September a box set at $39.95 of the 5 Bad Guy titles 6 to 10. So we've already had 1 to 5 out there in the marketplace. Now 6 to 10 will be available as well. Wings of Fire, we're doing a box set of the first 4 Wings of Fire graphic novels. So the graphic novels have increased the profile of the series, but of course it just keeps building and building and building. So $67.96, and that one will be available in October. There's no price break on the box sets, but a lot of times librarians, teachers, they are looking for something that kind of contains the whole series. And I apologize that there isn't a cover reveal for Wings of Fire graphic novel 5 yet, but the book will be coming out in December. So again, because this is a late release, please make sure that you have the right number, because it's going to be tough to go back to get more. They're huge. And again, we like to have revenue generators in the Wings, and we like to have a few things in the Wings of Fire category every season, and having a graphic novel is just a bit of a coup. So $16.99 paperback on that one. Another graphic novel which does incredible numbers for us is we've got the new Babysitters Club, and this is number 10, Christy and the Snobs. And in this one, we introduce you to a new illustrator, Chan Chow. But as you can see from the cover, there really isn't a discernible difference. I mean, since Raina started the series, and kind of we've gone through a couple of different illustrators since, there's been no dropping off of the series. Kids are obviously just loving the series themselves rather than buying them because it was a certain illustrator. So this is coming in September, a $16.99 paperback. Very exciting. We have a great gift item coming in October. This is the second Babysitters Club retro tin. So the first one did incredibly well for us. This is the second. It comes with 6 of the best-selling Babysitters Club books. They are not sequential. It is just the six of the best sellers. So in the first tin, so we are back in business. Anne Martin's Babysitters Club. This is the only one of the original reissues that we're doing this season. It's number 18, Stacy's Mistake. So this has her going into the big city. So $8.99 paperback. We're offering a box set of the first four Babysitters Club Little Sister graphic novels. Again, no price break on the box sets, but they're always good to have on hand, especially in fourth quarter. And the Babysitters Club Little Sisters. So we don't have a new graphic novel in the Babysitters Club Little Sisters series this season, but we do have 2 reissues in the paperback. So we've got number 5 coming in October, number 6 coming in December. And I will mention that Raina Tegelmeier's Sisters, Drama, and Ghosts, all 3 of these are getting a price increase to $16.99. These have all been, as far as I'm concerned, a little too low in price. We all should be making a little bit a couple more dollars on these. And because we're doing the new price, all three of these have new ISBNs. So you will need to do kind of a reorder to get those ISBNs into the system. These are coming in November, so we will have cleared out all the old stock by October. And The Christmas Pig. This is a new title from J.K. Rowling. It is the story of a little boy who loses his beloved stuffed animal. He loses his little pig, who is his favorite animal of all time. And it has been replaced with a new pig, but it's not really the same. So he and his new Christmas pig set off on a journey, and that's what this story is about, this journey to kind of find lost things. So this is a strict on sale date of October 12th. It is $29.99. The conversion should put it at $33.99, but we kind of wanted to keep it under that $30 price point. It won't require any extra paperwork from you. It's 288 pages. It skews a little bit younger than Ichabod. It's not a Harry Potter book. It's not a Fantastic Beasts, and it's not the beginning of a new series. This is a straight up standalone Christmas title. There will be 9 black and white interior images, and we will do a cover reveal probably in July. The carton quantity is 20. There's no mandate that you order in the carton quantity. It just makes it easier for shipping. And there will be a 12-copy mixed floor display, which will have 9 copies of The Christmas Pig, the new book, and 3 copies of the Ichabod. So that is all coming at you on October 12th. So perfect seasonal title. And one that I'm extremely excited about is a new Brian Selznick title. And this is absolutely gorgeous. And I call this our Cloud Atlas. It's a beautiful meditative story about grief and the power of love. And it has 2 art pieces per story. So there are 24, it's told in 24 parts, and each part will have a beautiful original drawing from Brian Selznick, and then that same drawing as if viewed through a kaleidoscope. So like a kaleidoscope, everybody will see something a little bit different in this novel. Now, it's important to know that there is a 9-copy floor display on this one. And if you order the floor display, the books will come to you signed. So it's a really nice way of having kind of a little something special for the independent market. And I will I will kind of throw it to Lucy here to see if she can put up that video that I sent, but that didn't work, did it? Did you get the video?
No.
Okay, I'm going to try and do it, and you can tell me if it's working. Can you see this?
No. No, you're still sharing the other thing.
All right. So I think maybe we can do this time. So I have just stopped sharing my PowerPoint, and I'm going to share here, all of you, or we'll put it in the links for the presentation. So there is a little video for the independent market from Brian Selznick. So anyway, like I said, it is so beautiful. I love this book. It is our lead fiction for fall, jacketed hardcover at $26.99. Very exciting. We have the Friends license. So of course, Friends has had this huge resurgence during the pandemic. It's been all over Crave. It's a very bingeable show. And of course, there was the big Friends reunion. So they're in the news again. They're all over the place. And we have a coloring book, which comes with over 100 images to color for $21.99. And we have a picture book, Life is Better with Friends. And this will be coming in October. It's $23.99 jacketed hardcover. And think of this like that Office picture book that was released last fall. And the Wonky Donkey. This story had become kind of the cornerstone of what we do. We've got 2 new titles in the Wonky Donkey world. We've got a brand new story, Wonky Donkey's Big Surprise. Again, rhyming text, charming characters. This is coming in November. This will be a $9.99 paperback. And then we also have the original book, The Wonky Donkey, done as a sound book. And this will have the little tab at the back that stays in until you're ready to kind of pull the battery so that you won't be hearing it in the store constantly. So that's a board book at $14.99. And graphic novels. It was announced earlier this year that Disney and Scholastic would be collaborating on graphic novels, and here are the first two. So the subject is Minnie Mouse. The age level is 6 to 8 years old. These are really for junior graphic readers. They will be paperback and simultaneous hardcovers, but the paperbacks are $11.99. And coming in September, the first one, Big Dreams, is all about Minnie heading off to school. And then the second one is Minnie Mouse at the book fair, and what could be more on brand for Scholastic. And you can see some of the interiors here, and you can see that they are extremely vibrant and not a ton of text because they are targeted at that younger audience. Ms. Marvel is an original graphic or original Scholastic and Marvel graphic novel. Ms. Marvel, of course, great character who can change her shape. And we're starting to see characters in the Marvel universe that really emphasize the diversity of the Marvel universe. Ms. Marvel, of course, is the first Muslim character to headline a Marvel comic. She is also the most popular because she is 100% badass. The second Marvel graphic we have is Spider-Ham, Great Power, No Responsibility. This again, $11.99 paperback. Spider-Ham was introduced in the Into the Spider-Verse movie that came out. This is targeted again at that younger graphic reader, 6 to 8 year old. Spider-Ham received the key to the city, but he lost it. And so his adventure is trying to find that throughout the day. So, and there will be a second Into the Spider-Verse movie coming out in the near future. New Geronimo Stilton graphic novel. The first two launched during the pandemic. They've been met with great success. A lot of people were really kind of looking for that extension on the Geronimo Stilton series, targeted at 7 to 10 year olds. They've been endorsed by Dave Pilkey. They're fresh, funny, fast-paced, and the retail is $16.99. That'll be ready in November. And then in December, and again, these December titles, make sure you're getting those right numbers because it's a tight turnaround time. We've got the new Owlie, and this is number 4 in the series. He's a little owl with a big heart, and this one's all about fearing what we don't understand. So very accessible, very kind of on target for the age group that it's that they're meant for. $13.99 is the retail price on that one. We have Banana Fox and the Book-Eating Robot. This is from James Kochalka. This is the second in the series. It appeals to Dogman fans and Captain Underpants fans because they're very zany, they're very goofy. You can see that the illustrations are kind of very Dogman-like. And they've got great silly taglines. We've got number 3 coming in May of 2022. And Clifford the Big Red Dog has slipped from theaters. It's finally coming to the movies this fall. So November 5th is the release for the Clifford the Big Red Dog movie. And here is the graphic novel. And the graphic novel follows along the story, and it does fill in some of the blanks from the theatrical film. We have Sunny Makes a Splash. This is the 4th book in the Sunny series. We love this graphic novel series. It's perfect for fans of Raina Telgemeier. Retail is $16.99. This one has Sunny getting a job at the snack shack at her pool. She has a crush. It's, a tale as old as time. It's all about growing up. So it's conquering fears is the core theme. These are fabulous coming of age stories, and all 4 seasons are now going to be available in the Sunny series. We have a box set of the first 3 Nat graphic novels from Maria Scriven. These fit right in with that kind of Raina fan. Animorphs, we've got the second graphic novel, book 2, coming in the popular graphic novels based on the hit series. Lots of exciting action. These lend themselves beautifully to a visual presentation like a graphic novel. And this one centers around Rachel, who can turn herself into a cat. So all those millennials that cut their teeth on the original series are looking forward to these. We do have a graphic novel collection of the first 4 I Survived graphic novels. So those include the Titanic, and the shark attacks. So these, it doesn't seem to matter how American the subject matter is, people go crazy for these titles. New graphic novel, we've got 2 debut creators here, an exciting and action-packed middle grade fantasy graphic novel. Lovable street savvy characters, and it's a real examination of Asian mythology. Great imagery, lots of fun dragon images. So eye-catching character designs and coloring. This is from this will be $16.99, so it's nice to see this is a very diverse list this season. We're seeing a lot of diversity, including in our graphics series. Manu, new graphic novel. This is the second book that won the Get Published in Graphics contest. It comes from Kelly Fernandez. She has a Latin background, and the setting is heavily influenced by her Dominican heritage. It takes place in an all-girls school, and it's a magical hijinks adventure series. So $16.99 is the retail price, and you can see some of the illustrations, interiors there. Catwad. This is number 6 in the series. These are laugh out loud funny. I love Jim Benton. He has that great little snark. I love these because they remind me a little bit of kind of Pinky and the Brain. You've got Catwad, who is a rather dour character, and his best friend Blurmp, who is just all sunshine and roses and positivity. So these are a fun reads. They're targeted at the middle grade. Heartstopper. I love this series. This is the 4th in this soft, blossoming LGBTQ graphic novel series that we have. The author is a powerhouse online. The retail is $19.99, and the series is currently being developed for TV in the UK. This is the final volume for us. I know that there is a 5th volume coming. I think we're trying to get the rights, but I'm not sure where it's falling at this point. But I'm excited to see this one coming in December. Those are all of our graphic novels. Paperbacks, the Geronimo Stilton series. We are still committed to Geronimo Stilton, and he is still selling, but it's really the core titles that are doing well. So we have the 2 paperbacks in the core series, Geronimo and Taya. We've got number 79 in Geronimo for $9.99, and number 34 in Taya. So she heads off to Rome in this, and they both release in September. And then we have 2 new hardcovers. These are always great for gift giving in the fall. We've got the 14th in the Kingdom of Fantasy series from Geronimo Stilton, and the 3rd in the Treasure Seeker series from Taya. So as I said, great for gift giving. These will both be ready in November. Branches and Acorn. Acorn has 12 series and 2 million books in print now. We launched Acorn because we realized that there, even within those reading levels, there was still room to kind of grow a little bit. So whereas Branches are really kind of for that 6 to 8 age group, Acorn is for 5 to 7. So here are a couple of Acorn offerings. We've got Fairy Light Friends, which is all about these little fairy friends, and Princess Truly, who is a rather precocious, adventurous young girl. And that's October and November. We have a Dragon Masters box set coming in September, which has the first 5 Dragon Master books, and you know that Dragon Masters is the A++, top of the heap, the one that everybody wants. This is the newest branches title. So in November, we have a new Dragon Masters coming. Everybody's looking forward to it. I know if Irving's out there watching this, he has a special fan in his world. Unicorn Diaries, quickly moving up the ladder to become, to usurp Owl Diaries as the second best series. So what we're offering this season from Unicorn Diaries is a box set, books 1 to 5 for $36.95. And we do have a new Owl Diaries coming in October. So, and the last, the tail end of the branches titles, these are all kind of B+ list. We've got Diary of a Pug, told from the point of view of the dog. The Last Firehawk, perfect for fans of Guardians of Ga'Hoole. Press Start, great for those Minecraft kids. And Pixie Tricks, which was what Tracy West was writing long before she had started the Dragon Masters series for us. All retailing for $7.99. New publishing, we've got a new series starting called The Underdogs. And as you can see, this is kind of a motley crew of misfits. It's the cutest thing ever. It's a new series from Tracy West, illustrated by Kyla May. Black and white illustrations throughout. They'll be the same trim size as the bad guys, same level as the bad guys. Everybody wants to be the best dog ever, but these misfits are never going to make it best in show. But it really does emphasize the fact that everybody has value, everybody has talent. We've signed up 4 books. This is the first one. It's coming in October. And we have Wednesday in the Total Mayhem series. So Total Mayhem, the first 2 books, Monday and Tuesday, are releasing in August. So we saw those in the summer list. You probably put your orders in, but it is difficult to know kind of where this series is sitting because you don't have them out in store yet. But there's a ton of interest in the series. They sold in well on the initial. They're kind of reminiscent of Mac B or Bad Guys. Great main character that gets up every morning and has to do battle with somebody. And in this case, it's the Bad Trees, the Forest of Secrets. So that's Total Mayhem. That's coming in November. And then we have Bad Food, which is a new series coming, written by Eric Looper, illustrated by the Doodle Boy, Joe Wally. So Joe Wally, known as the Doodle Boy, he's a young kid from the UK. I saw a little Today Show piece on him. So he's kind of Tom Gates meets Mike Lowry. So it's very much a goofy setting. It's a school setting, but all the characters are food. And this is kind of a bad lot here. So this will be perfect, that next book after kids are done with the Branches series. Dragon Girls. 3 new titles coming in October. The first 3 books in the series released in May. Each book introduces a new dragon and a new little dragon sidekick. They're a great series, lots of adventure, really targeted at kind of a young female market. And these are the 3 new characters that are coming out. So they each retail for $7.99. And as I mentioned, all 3 of them are coming in October. Mermicorn Island, this is Scholastic at its finest. I mean, this is the stuff that hits the book club in a big way and eventually bubbles up into the trade market. What could be more appealing to little girls than every little archetype? So you've got unicorns and mermaids in one book, but they are a cute and charming little series. They're about friendship and fun and a little bit of magic thrown into the mix. Puppy Place, we have 2 titles this season, and they're on separate slides because they're different prices. So in September, we have Sparky coming out, and as you can see, Sparky has had a bit of an accident, has lost one of his legs, so it's really all about overcoming challenges. And then lastly, we have Donut, which is going to be a retail of $7.99, and Donut is a little lab shepherd mix. So again, these are all about the cute little breed of dog. So those are all of the things that I'm contractually obligated to sell you. They are the best of the best, the super leads, the paperbacks, and kind of those, and all the graphic novels. Now I'm going to start sharing kind of the meat and potatoes of the list. So this is the mid list. And Lucy, if you could just scream out that you can see Goosebumps Slappy World.
I can see Goosebumps Slappy World.
Perfection. So Goosebumps Slappy World, this is number 15 in the Goosebumps series. The covers are terrifying. That's what appeals to kids, that gets them to pick the books up and read them. They're not as scary on the interiors, I guarantee you. So again, the Goosebumps movie, we're still making hay from when that released a couple seasons ago. Here's your $8.99 latest Slappy World title. From Kelly Yang, we have, of course, she did Front Desk, which was a huge success for us. Now we have 3 Keys coming in paperback in September, and at the same time we have Room to Dream, her new hardcover coming out. New hardcover at $22.99. Strong themes of immigration in this one, as we are used to seeing with her. This one focuses on gentrification. The main character is relentless in following her dreams. These are super relatable titles, and it really is refreshing to see Asian American characters that don't shy away from their heritage. So many kids out there would really find themselves in Mia Tang. The school market loves these. So here is a new hardcover for you. Consent is examined a little bit in Room to Dream when her best friend kisses her full on the lips. Gross. She didn't ask for it, but and it is her best boyfriend that does this. So just a little bit of information there for you. Freddy versus School. This is a new series starting. It'll be an original trade paperback at $9.99. It's all about this young robot. Freddy is a robot. And the intention of this is that Neil Gaiman really wanted to write something. Although Freddy is a robot, he's an allegory for kids who feel different. They suffering from ADHD or ASD, and it's targeted at the middle grade, and it really is kind of talking about trying to fit in. So it's a story about compassion, friendship, and empathy. Retail price of $9.99. We're doing a simultaneous hardcover release just in case the school market or library market needs one. New series, the first book in the series called City of Thieves. This is Battle Dragons. It takes place in a future world where we have domesticated dragons. And it's the story of this family, centered around this one young family and 3 siblings. So a young boy who wants to become a dragon driver, which is a very coveted elite job in this new world, but he doesn't do well on his exam, so he fails out. His sister is becoming a dragon thief, which is also another way to make bank in this future world. And his brother is an up-and-comer in law enforcement. So it really is the interplay amongst this family. $23.99 jacketed hardcover. That's coming in September. It's targeted at the middle grade. And a couple of titles here. Show Me a Sign I pitched a couple of seasons ago. I loved this book. It's written by a deaf librarian, and it's centered around this small community in Nantucket that was really colonized by a lot of deaf people. And still to this day, there is a larger percentage of deaf people living on Nantucket than anywhere else. The second book, Set Me Free, it's a standalone. They're not a sequel, but this one has, again, representing the underserved category of physical disabilities. So it's a young deaf girl who is charged with teaching a younger deaf girl to communicate with sign language. So it's kind of similar to a Helen Keller style story. So the new hardcover, $25.99, the paperback, $9.99. These are coming out simultaneously in September. The Ghost of Midnight Lake. This is a new middle grade fiction from Lucy Strange. It's basically a gothic novel, classic Gothic novel for beginners with, you know, affectionate nods to things like Jane Eyre and Rebecca. So not super scary, but more kind of that strange supernatural. It was released in the UK as The Ghosts of Goswater and has already received tons of positive review attention. It's been shortlisted for the Waterstones Children's Book Prize for 2020. So we know it's got some pedigree behind it. I love Lucy Strange. She wrote Secret of Nightingale Wood, which was one that I just adored. And this will be coming in September, jacketed hardcover at $23.99. A Touch of Ruckus. This is also for the middle grade. It's a sweet, ghostly, southern Gothic mystery that's perfect for fans of Cassie Beasley and Natalie Lloyd. It's the story of a young girl named Tenny who has the ability to look inside strangers' memories with a simple touch. So her family moves to the Appalachians and her talent then develops a little bit into being able to commune with ghosts. And when she does, the messages aren't great. Trouble is on its way. So $23.99, this is coming in September. The Forgotten Girl, this is coming in paperback. This was released a couple of seasons ago in the hardcover. It's a very spooky original ghost story. It's about a young girl who unearths a ghost in a long forgotten segregated graveyard. And at first the ghost starts out, you know, quite friendly, but then becomes jealous and demanding and things turn south very quickly. So important storyline here about reclaiming those abandoned segregated cemeteries. She does have a new novel coming in the spring list, and it is terrifying. So this brings diversity to a genre where historically there hasn't been much. Ghost Squad, also coming in paperback. This is basically Coco meets Stranger Things with a hint of Ghostbusters. So this is really kind of for the middle grade, but I would say kind of the lower, on the lower end, like maybe 8, 9-year-olds. It's a very spooky book, but not super scary. Group of friends that kind of unleash some malignant spirits into the world and then kind of have to put the genie back in the bottle. So paperback at $9.99 coming in September. Chris Crovatin has provided us with an original paperback middle grade horror. He was the one that wrote Red Rover, which came out, I think, in the spring. He, like K.R. Alexander, a lot of these are written for the school market or the clubs and fair market, but they're great for anybody who just wants an inexpensive scare. So coming in September, it can sit beautifully on Halloween tables. Call him Stephen King for the middle grade. This is the story of a town that is plunged inexplicably into darkness, and we all know that bad things happen in the dark. Last Gamer Standing. This is an original paperback at $9.99 from Katie Zhao, and it's Ready Player One meets the action of Battle Royale video games. So it's a middle grade sci-fi, perfect for fans of Fortnite. So it's powerful, timely story that really examines what it means to be a young girl gamer in a pretty heavily male-dominated field. So there's themes of toxic masculinity, cyberbullying, and internet trolls, but it really is an action-packed story for middle grade readers. Unfortunately, we don't have a cover on the I Survived the Galveston Hurricane, but knowing the series, you're going to know that it's going to be it'll be one that reaches out and grabs you. So this is the latest in the I Survived paperback series, number 21. As I mentioned before with the graphic box set, it does not matter how American these titles are, kids just love them and they really gravitate towards them. And we know that they go into the school market in a big way. That's why we are providing also a hardcover version for the school market or library market. MacB Kids Spy, we have a box set of the first 4 books. I love MacB, I love Mac Barnett. I love these because they all take place in the 80s. So all Mac has at his disposal is his Game Boy, his Corgi, and his wits. There was no such thing as the internet, so you can't just Google everything to solve his problems. New fantastic YA title from J. Coles, who is a new light in YA fiction. This is about a bisexual Black boy who is finding love and facing the return of an absent mother. His mom disappeared when he was 8. She left when he was 9. She's come back 8 years later. And what does he do with that? Is he just supposed to forgive her? He's going through all of his own crap. So, you know, he's trying to navigate love in all of its ambiguity, trying to figure out who he is in the process. And this really fills a hole in YA literature. It's tough to find representation of queer people of color, especially young men. So this is beautifully written, perfect for fans of I Wish You All the Best and The Life and Lies of Rukshana Ali. That'll be a jacketed hardcover at $25.99. And Five Nights at Freddy's. We've got 2 titles coming in the Fazbear Fright series. This is that paperback series that has 3 novella-length stories in each book. They're all illustrated by fan favorite game artists. So they each retail for $12.99. We've got one coming in September, one coming in November. We have an ultimate edition of the Five Nights at Freddy's Freddy Files. This is the second one, which kind of enhances the gameplay. So this is all the information that anybody could ever need about the Five Nights at Freddy's games. This is coming in November. And then lastly, we have a box set of all of those novella-length Fazbear Frights titles. So they're all in one place, and it's a hefty sticker price, but for those that love the series, it'll be a no-brainer. The Buried. Oh, terrifying. I loved this story. Heart-pounding, claustrophobic new story from Melissa Gray, the author of Rated. So 10 years ago, disaster struck, and everybody had to move underground. So this, of course, climate change is it's kind of the extreme of climate change, forced us to live underground. And this is the story of kind of a handful of families that are living in this one particular bunker, which has a leader named Dr. Imogen Morin, and she has many, many rules. So you must always tell the truth, you must avoid the light of the sun, you must never touch skin to skin, and you must never go outside. So it's very creepy and wonderful. Coming in September, this will have lots of legs for Halloween. Just a great story. And Mary Will I Die, that also was 12 plus, that one. So Mary Will I Die, I don't know when kids will stop playing this Bloody Mary game because I still find it terrifying, but that's what this book is all about. So it starts innocently enough. 4 9-year-olds at a sleepover play that Bloody Mary game. And then 5 years later, the 4 of them are no longer friends, but the terror that they unleashed that night 5 years before is coming back. So they need now to work together to defeat this evil. So $25.99, that's coming in September. We have the 3rd Ruby novel. Ruby, of course, is that animated web series where kids train to be warriors. So this is an exclusive story. This doesn't follow as a standalone. It doesn't follow along the web series. The first book got starred reviews and is a Publishers Weekly bestseller. Here is number 3, coming in September in paperback at $13.99. The Bridge from Bill Konigsberg. If you remember, this was a real 3-hanky read. It's now coming in paperback. It was a story of 2 kids done in 4 different sections. So different questions each time. So 2 kids meet on a bridge, a boy and a girl, and they're both there with intent to jump from the bridge. And so what each section of the book does is it answers a different question. So the first one is the girl jumps, but the boy doesn't. The second one is the boy jumps, but the girl doesn't. The third one is that they both jump. And then the fourth is that neither one of them jump. This does not lightly look at suicide. In fact, there is a huge section at the end that gives all of the assets that one would need to find help if they are contemplating hurting themselves. And Bill Konigsberg himself, kind of in the introduction to this book, discusses the fact that he himself has been in that real dark place. So it's an important book, now available in paperback to make it even more accessible. Surprising Power of a Good Dumpling from Y. Chim. This is the story Now available in paperback. This is a young girl's coming of age story. She has a mom that has severe mental illness. She's bipolar. Her father is kind of checked out from the world. He's done dealing with it. And the family owns a restaurant. And so she finds solace there in kind of making the dishes that are served at this restaurant. She meets a boy who also suffers from depression. It's really kind of listed as older YA because it does have some gentle, non-descriptive sex in it, but it's 14 plus, and that's coming in paperback at $13.99. Some picture books. We have a hilarious picture book debut from Lauren Tarshish, who does the I Survive series, and this is called Only My Dog Picks My Nose. So $23.99 jacketed hardcover. This is perfect for fans of David Shannon or Mo Willems. The dog is really the only one who truly knows you. From the Goodie, we have a new picture book from Lauren Child. This is a touchingly funny tale about being good, being bad, and being you. So really charming and fresh look at individuality and the relationship between siblings who are as different as chalk and cheese. Beautiful picture book we're doing in paperback now, classic. This was published in 1992. It's called The Leaving Morning, and it's a story that affects a lot of kids. It's all about moving. So the family is moving to a new home. So the book really centers around the day that these kids go around their apartment building and they talk to friends and family alike to say their goodbyes because they're heading to a new neighborhood and a new home. Sweet, Sweet Baby. This is a board book. Can sit beside anti-racist baby. It celebrates the joy, hope, and pride that a new baby brings, and it is a perfect shower gift. So that'll come October at $10.99. And The Christmas in the Stable, this is also a board book. It's a touch and feel board book for $13.99. Touch and feel inspirational title. It's tough to find nativity stories. So this fits that bill, and it will have rhyming text. Paperback picture book, Hey, You're Not Santa. This takes place on Christmas Eve when Santa has to dash back to the North Pole because of an emergency, and he just happens to be in a field at the time that he realizes that he has to do this. So he just points to a cow and says, "You're now Santa." But there's this young boy who's been waiting up all night to kind of catch Santa in the act, and he is not having any of it. So this is an original paperback at $9.99, cute little seasonal title. Fa La La Llama, this coming in board book at $13.99. This is that kind of taller style of board book. It is touch and feel as well, from the same author as Mighty Moms. So it's a very tactile title. And Clifford, the OG story. So this is the very original Clifford the Big Red Dog storybook from Norman Bridwell that we are doing in a board book. So this is the first time it's ever been available in a board, and this will be ready in September. In October, we have Sharon Cameron's Bluebird. I loved this title, and this will really read up into the adult market. She wrote The Light in Hidden Places, which you can see there was a Reese Witherspoon's YA book club pick and is coming in paperback in September. Bluebird takes place in the aftermath of the Second World War. So we meet Ava, the character on the front here, and she's a young woman who has just arrived in New York. And she's arrived in New York with the help of the CIA and Project Bluebird. And she's there to flush out her father, who was a Nazi doctor from the Sachsenhausen concentration camp who escaped to the US. She, of course, has her own agenda. She wants to kill him herself. So there's a lot going on in this book. It's got intrigue, it's got espionage. The Russians are after her father as well. But it does shine a beautiful light on Project Bluebird, on the Sachsenhausen concentration camp, on the Lebensborn, and the relief workers who helped so many people adjust to their new home in the new world after the war. Beautifully written book. As I said, it can definitely read up into the adult market, and we've put that cover treatment on it accordingly to see that it could kind of cross over. Out of the Fire, this is a tense YA thriller. It's great great and twisty, and it's very good. It's a basic feminist revenge story. It opens on the story of Cass, a young girl who has escaped an abduction. She never saw her attacker, but now she's receiving letters from him. So everyone around her is a suspect. She's a nervous wreck, and she does meet up with these other 3 girls who are also being terrorized by men in her lives for various reasons. So one has an abusive boyfriend, one has a racist teacher who's targeting her, and one has an abusive stepfather. So they all set out to take revenge. So it's a really satisfying read. I liked it a lot. Good for the YA. One way or another, sorry, this is new in paperback. It's a holiday romance. Sliding Doors meets Jenny Han. It's a young girl who is plagued by indecision and anxiety who gets the opportunity to play out 2 different scenarios. So that is coming in October in paperback. Freedom Swimmer from Y. Chim. A beautiful, powerful story of friendship, bravery, and a desperate bid for freedom. This is inspired by her father's daring escape from mainland China to Hong Kong in the early 70s, and has already been shortlisted for tons of young adult prizes in Australia and Japan. So it's already got a pedigree. We're releasing it into the North American market in October. The Shattered Castle and the Captive Kingdom. This is number 4 and 5 in the Ascendance series, which started with False Prince. So Captive Kingdom coming in paperback in September at $11.99, and the new title, The Shattered Castle, coming in October in hardcover. So high stakes action. Anybody that's been reading the series is going to be hankering for the new titles because they always leave on a real cliffhanger. Playing the Cards You're Dealt from Varian Johnson. This is from the author. Varian Johnson wrote the Parker Inheritance, the graphic novel Twins. This is a heartfelt, hopeful story. It's tough to find coming-of-age stories for boys, and helping boys kind of discover what it means, how to grow to be a man in this modern world. Boys get very mixed messages from media, from home, from school, but we all want to raise good men, and this book really examines that. So it's coming in hardcover in October at $22.99. The Magical Reality of Nadia. This is the follow-up from the first book, which released last spring. Nadia this time, again, it's a school setting. She has her sights set on becoming a reporter for her school newspaper. These are from political satirist Bassem Youssef. They are loosely based on his daughter, and this one has themes of fake news, friendship, and magic, and it does stress that every voice matters. So book 1 received star reviews, and it is being made into an animated TV show. So retail on that one under $20. Baraka Beats. This is a story of a young girl, new middle grade hardcover, story of a young girl who moves from Islamic school to public high school. And to try to fit in, she decides to join the school's resident boy band. But of course, she can't tell her parents about that. They're still really rooted in tradition. And so she's lying. So her parents her lies start to unravel, and that's really what moves the story forward. So she's navigating family drama, friendship, school, and I really like this one because it does help to normalize Muslim faith, and it has that universal message of never losing sight of who you truly are. Slimed, I would have pitched to you in the summer list. This slipped from the summer. This is a middle grade fiction about a science project gone wrong. It is an original paperback at $8.99 about 2 kids that enter a science fair and create this indefatigable slime that starts to take over their town. So very funny. Concealed. This is an exciting new techno thriller for fans of Vicky Vansicle's The Winnowing. Action-packed story featuring a Latinx main character. Story of a young girl whose family is in the witness protection program, or so she thinks. She thinks they're on the run from a cartel, but she really realizes throughout the course of the book that they're actually on the run from the bioscience firm that her father worked for. And they're on the run not because of him, but because of her, and not who she is, but maybe what she is. So it introduces kids to CRISPR technology. It has lots of STEM elements, and it has a real opportunity to talk about bioethics here. So author is quite well known in the school and library market. Fly Guy versus Fly Girl. These are the OG Branches series. So these are those very early chapter books. Paper overboard hardcover at $9.99, so they're a great price. New picture book from Julia Donaldson called The Christmas Pine. This is a hardcover at $19.99, and this tells the tale of a pine tree that grows from a pine cone all the way to being the Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square. So it's a beautiful Christmas story, all about fulfilling your destiny. So rhyming text, beautiful picture book. Bright Brown Baby. This is from the Pinckneys, celebration of Black and Brown babies. And this is an anthology, a treasury of poetry. And each poem in the book will eventually be released into a separate board book. So, you know, if we should be reading to children as soon as they are born, then every child should be able to see themselves in books at every level. So this will be the bind up at $24.99. And then Count to Love is the very first Bright Brown Baby poem that's going to be released into an individual board book. So this is coming in October at $11.99. Count to Love, very simple counting book. So this is that preschool concept stuff. High Five Farm from Russ Burrick. He is really he's the father of toddlers, so he knows his audience. And this emphasizes high-fiving instead of hugging and kissing. So it helps shy kids. It also softly, you know, emphasizes consent. We should really stop telling kids that they have to hug and kiss people if they really don't want to do it. So it's a board book at $10.99. Reach for the Stars. This is a crinkly format fabric book. This will come with a handle. It's a foam base and it's washable, which is very important right now because if kids are putting stuff in their mouths, we need to make sure that they are able to be cleaned. That's at $16.99. Corgi Can. This is a new board book series with a new character, and you can see Corgi there is very adorable. Simple text on every page. Think Sea Spot. So $9.99 board book coming in October. And We Are Better Together from Joyce Wan. Another board book. Joyce Wan has a much bigger profile in the US gift market where she's got cards and plush and everything else. She's building here, and this is a new board book at $9.99. Beautiful new picture book from Jocelyn Landgrand. This is very timely. It really talks about how we're all separated right now. This one deals with not just that separation, but the eventual death of a grandparent. So it deals with the loss of a grandparent. So it is an issues book, but it talks about how we all share the same sky. And if we can't be together, look up at the sky and we're seeing the same thing. So it's all about connection. So beautiful jacketed picture book at $25.99. And The Children's Moon, also a beautiful jacketed picture book from the same author as Rita and Ralph's Rotten Day. This feels classic and timeless. And on a clear blue day, you might see the moon, and that is called the Children's Moon. And legend has it, the moon made a pact with the sun because the moon was tired of never actually ever seeing children's faces. He only ever saw them when they were sleeping. So he wanted to see them when they were at play and joyful. So makes a deal with the sun so he can do that. And you can see this is the gorgeous artwork. How Did Dinosaurs Say Goodbye? This is a classic How to Dinosaurs book from Jane Yolen and Mark Teague. This is that larger hardcover version. And again, it follows the same format as the others where the negative behavior is shown at the beginning and then the modeling behavior is shown at the end. So all done in rhyming text, and you get those great illustrations. Shuri, this is the first Black Panther novel, all about the breakout star of the Black Panther movie. written by Nick Stone, who's very plugged into this market, and this is coming in paperback finally in November. Into the Blood Red Woods, this is Sibling Rivalry, unlike any other. This is a YA fiction hardcover at $25.99. Really does emphasize that happily ever after is a lie. It's a load of crap. This is a compelling story that takes place in a fantastical world, kind of like where Wicked meets werewolves, and it's perfect for fans of Maggie Stiefvater. Every Line of You, written by Naomi Gibson. This is, again, a YA fiction hardcover. In the face of grief and bullying, this young girl, the main character, builds an AI. She builds herself a boyfriend out of artificial intelligence. And of course, things go along fine, but tech has that downside. And as this AI continues to increase intelligence, things go bad. So, downside of technology. Going Viral, this is an original paperback. It's a YA pandemic read from the same author as Quarantine: A Love Story. So again, it is a pandemic romance. So original paperback at $13.99. Also an original paperback, we've got Vacancy by K.R. Alexander. And like Chris Cravatin from earlier in the list, this is an original paperback about a terrible hotel. You do not want to check in to this hotel because it's kind of like Bates Hotel meets Hotel California. You don't check out the same way you went in. The Night Silver Promise. This is the first book in a brand new, richly immersive magical fantasy trilogy from Annalise Avery, who is a debut novel. Perfect for fans of Philip Pullman or Cornelia Funke. It's packed with dragons, intrigue, imaginative science, and stunning world building. So this is the middle grade answer to Game of Thrones. When the World Turned Upside Down, new title coming in November. This is dealing with all things that are happening in the world right now. It's set at the very beginning of the pandemic shutdown, and it takes place in this microcosm of this apartment building. So all the characters that have kind of voices there. It navigates issues of race, social justice, generosity, and friendship. And, you know, these kids become very savvy and very socially aware, as most modern kids have become. Liar's Room from Dan Pawlecki. This is a terrifying title. Again, very scary, spooky standalone from middle grade horror expert. Story of a blended family that moves into this new house that is new to them, but had been a home for misbehaved boys and is now haunted by its ghosts. We Shall Overcome, picture book from Brian Collier, from the illustrator of All Because You Matter. It's a celebration of the gospel civil rights anthem. So Martin Luther King used the lyrics in his very last sermon, and this promotes nonviolent civil rights activism. Beast's Carnival. This Carnival is a huge deal in many countries, mostly Catholic in the world. So it's a huge festival. It takes place right before Lent. And this is the story not only of the relationship between a young girl and her grandmother, but it's a delightful picture book that celebrates intergenerational familial bonds of all sorts and that bright celebration of Carnival. A Batch Made in Heaven. This is one of the Wish titles. This is that food-centric romance original paperback at $9.99. House on Hoarder Hill. This is the second in what will be a trilogy. The first book is coming this August. It was sold to you last list, but it's a paperback series. Centers around a young family, a couple of kids who go to their grandfather's house, and his grandfather is a hoarder. So the house itself becomes a character in the book. So magical, gutsy, spooky story about family, and has some great fun in the interior. I Know Your Secret, story of 4 kids, none of whom are friends, but they all receive the same email on a Sunday afternoon, and that is, when you go to school tomorrow, you must do what I say or I will reveal your secret. So on Monday morning, these 4 kids go to school terrified because they all do have a secret, and they do not want it revealed. So eventually they kind of figure out that all four have gotten the same message and need to work together to find out who it was that has threatened them. So they do find out, and this is an original paperback, very fast-paced contemporary read. Stay Alive from Rodman Philbrick. This is an examination of the danger and horrors of the Donner Party's journey across the West. Middle grade boys will love this. Who doesn't love a good story about adventure and eventual cannibalism? This is coming in December in paperback. Escape from Chernobyl from Andy Marino. This Andy Marino is the same author that wrote the Plot to Kill Hitler series, which was another original paperback series. It chronicles one family's desperate bid to escape the deadly Chernobyl disaster. So this is the first of 3 coming in December. Chernobyl, of course, since the HBO documentary has, people are starting to talk about it again and are looking for information on it. Bendy and the Ink Machine. This is from Adrian Kress. This is the second Bendy novel. I find them absolutely terrifying. It's stuff of nightmares. This will be an original paperback at $12.99. Those that know the series are going to know about this book for sure. New board book from Carolyn Jane Church. We have With All My Heart, I Love You. Again, rhyming text and dots for eyes. Carolyn Jane Church is the cornerstone of our baby book program. This is padded board book, perfect shower gift. And then we have new titles in the Scholastic Early Learners series. These are only for the storefront. They're not going to work for the school market because they all have fill-in pieces or things that can get lost. We start with 2 new board books. These are My Growth Mindset and My Mindfulness Workbooks. These help kids understand big emotions. They work towards mindfulness. They each have 96 pages of activities, emphasizing on coping skills, concentration, and finding inner peace. We have 2 easy carry format learning pads. They launched in summer. They're 104-page workbooks with 60 tearaway pages and over 100 stickers in each one. We have one for pre-K and one for grade 1. We've got 2 board books that are very similar to that My First Canadian board book series. They help kids with early literacy, helping them making connections between images and words. These are chunky board books for $7.99. We have a reissue of a board book from September, My First Book of Colors. This is a reissue with a new look and new ISBN, first concept board book. We have My First Science Experiments book. This is lots of fun, includes 96 pages of at-home experiments, includes 4 pages of stickers for kids K to 12, and includes helpful tips for parents. And finally, we have a flashcards deck, $5.99, very inexpensive. These are Spanish English words for all of those that are doing a little bit of Spanish. Now, I'm going to stop sharing. I have one more PowerPoint that I am going to zip through. It is the licensed and nonfiction. So I think this is important to do just because a lot of these titles are going to work for the school market. So I'm going to do my best to get through it all. In the Spirit of a Dream, this is 13 stories of American immigrants of color. Think people like Edwidge Danticat, Yo-Yo Ma, and it's illustrated by 14 first and second generation immigrant artists. You're a Star, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We know she's American, but she is also a feminist pioneer. So I do like this book. We're doing a paperback and hardcover simultaneous release. We've got the Scholastic Year in Sports. These come out every year as an annual. This one will include the Olympics. Of course, we don't have a finished cover because we wait until the last possible second. Same thing with the Scholastic Book of World Records, which we do every year, which is a nice price alternative to the Guinness Book. The Nerf Launchers looks very like Klutz, has everything you need to make fun. Nerf Launchers includes a 30-page guidebook and all the stuff to make slingshots, catapults, etc. These Who Would Win? Teachers, librarians love these. This is a bind up. This is the 5 books in 1 volume for $13.99. This is the original paperback, $6.99 science reader. So we've got the Ultimate Reptile Rumble and the Extreme Animal Rumble for this season. I Survived True Stories. So we have the original I Survived series. Now we have the Animal Survivors. And this is all those little animals that have survived horrible adventures. Animal heroes, soldiers, scientists, and other humans whose lives that they have affected. What if I had animal scales? These take those big concepts and bring them down to a kid's level, helping them understand the uniqueness of each different animal. $6.99 paperback. Everything Awesome About Space, $22.99. Mike Lowry did the dinosaurs one and the sharks one. This is like sitting beside a plane for 5 hours and having some kid tell you everything you ever needed to know about space, but didn't even know you needed to know. So fun illustrations, perfect for the school market. I love this one, the animated series. The animated periodic table is the first one. We're going to do an animated rocks and minerals next. We're doing a simultaneous paperback hardcover release. This gives you everything you need to know about the 118 elements that make up the world, everything in the world around us. And it will have a pull-out card deck making kind of like a little flashcard, 20 most important elements, which can be used as a quick reference flashcards. Signs of survival. Holocaust memoirs are becoming more and more crucial as survivors pass. This is the story of Renee, who is a hearing girl, and Herda and the rest of their family, which is deaf. Deaf representation and representation of disabilities of all kinds are highly needed now. This is a hardcover at $23.99. Deadliest Diseases Then and Now. This kind of looks at, perfect for young readers of the I Survived and the Who Was series. It is packed with graphics, photos, facts for curious minds, gripping look at pandemics through the ages. The Curse of the Mummy, great book for budding archaeologists and readers that are interested in all things Egyptian. So how rumors that King Tut's tomb was cursed and it doomed all those who disturbed the boy pharaoh's final resting place. Lots of black and white photos throughout. Sabotage, who knew Hitler had an atomic bomb? Well, he was working towards one. And this is an adventure that involves Nazis, nukes, fighting, failure, and everyday heroes, from the author of The Nazi Hunters. A Rebel in Auschwitz. This has Jack Fairweather, a journalist who follows a remarkable man who elected to go into Auschwitz to try to fight the Nazis from within. The Scholastic Library Press titles. We have the In Our Neighborhood series. Coming in September, 6 new titles that introduces kids to community helpers. They have real photos, nonfiction sidebars, bite-sized information. They're for kids 5 to 7, so kindergarten to grade 2. We launched in spring. Here is those first lists. Around the World. This basically takes all of those light concepts around the world. So for kids can see what homes, pets, schools, desserts, lunch, and games are for other kids in different parts of the world. They're targeted at ages K to 2. Real world math. I love this one. This answers the question that every kid asks, when am I ever going to use this? Well, this is when you're going to use it. If you want to be an architect, if you want to go into computers, you want to be an astronaut, if you want to be a zoologist, you need math. So it's a great public relations strategy for math. It covers kindergarten to grade 2 math concepts. It features real world people using math every day. The Natural Disaster series. This talks about the causes and forces behind natural disasters. Climate change is usually the dominating factor, and it talks about how to prep for each one. These are targeted at grades 3 to 5. They retail for $9.99. Harry Potter license. We have 3 titles. We've got a Hogwarts dress up, we've got an origami, and Destroy the Horcruxes. So it's a book that you have to destroy. We have 3 Peppa titles. We've got an activity book. We've got, in September, the one that everybody's going to want is the 8x8 paperback, and we have a shaped board book coming in December. Pokemon, we have 3 titles. This is the one that has a little on pack for $14.99. It's an activity book. We have the flip book. You flip it on one side, you get a story. You turn it over, you got a second story. It's 2 books in one. We have a box set of all the first 4 chapter books in the newest Galar series. That's coming in November. We have a new Clifford 8x8. This is based on the new Clifford TV show on PBS. $7.99 is the retail. We have Paw Patrol. There's going to be a movie coming in August 2021. This is a light up storybook. You press the button and everything lights up. We have the Fast and Furious Comictivity. Fast and Furious movie is coming, the new number 9 movie. I know my partner's really excited about it. I hope he takes my daughter because I want nothing to do with it. This is an activity book around that movie. And finally, we have He-Man Masters of the Universe, which is coming to Netflix. This is a book that gives you that got it, need it, everything you need to know about all the heroes and villains. And that is the Scholastic list for fall.
Well done.
The only